So week 1 of the 2023 NFL season is officially in the books. And, well, just as I imagined, there were certainly going to be a lot of overreactions, whether it was on social media or on television, notably from ESPN. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about week 1 of the 2023 NFL season that has just wrapped up this past week as we head towards the next week of the NFL season, which is week 2. So we kicked things off with the official NFL kickoff game that happened last week on Thursday, which saw the Detroit Lions taking mostly full advantage of the Travis Kelce, Chris Jones-less Kansas City Chiefs on both sides of the ball, as Jared Goff, David Montgomery, and Brian Branch helped Detroit pretty much seal the deal with some big plays late in the game in an early upset win over the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, 21-20. Then we get to the Sunday slate of games, starting with the early morning portion first. Down in Atlanta, safety Jessie Bates intercepted first overall pick Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers twice, while the Falcons' running game of Tyler Algier and running back Bijan Robinson flew by the Panthers' running defense for 3 combined rushing touchdowns as the Atlanta Falcons beat the Carolina Panthers 24-10. Down in Baltimore, the Houston Texans defense, they were very pesky in this game to give the rookie quarterback CJ Stroud some help. However, the Ravens' own pesky defense stifled the rookie quarterback on their own end as their own rushing attack led the scoring amidst the growing pains of the new look Lamar Jackson offense minus Mark Andrews, who's out for that game. But nonetheless, the Baltimore Ravens still managed to beat the Houston Texans 25-9. Down in the land, yes, Cleveland, the home of the skid marks, but they were not the skid marks on Sunday as the Browns defense relentlessly pressured. They relentlessly harassed the newly paid Joe Burrow, who was kind of recovered from the calf strain, but he didn't play like a quarterback that was just given a big fat contract extension. As, the Browns defense relentlessly harassed the newly paid Joe Burrow all game long and limited Cincinnati to its worst outing with Joe Burrow in a very dominant win against the Cincinnati Bengals 24-3. Down in Indianapolis, Anthony Richardson, the new rookie starting quarterback for the Colts, looked pretty promising in his first real start. But of course, he had some rookie growing pains in a back and forth affair against Trevor Lawrence and the all elite Jacksonville Jaguars, which the Jaguars managed to pull away thanks to some late end zone scores from running backs Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne, 31-21. In Minnesota, things started off slow, but quarterback Baker Mayfield of the Tampa Bay Bucks picked it up late in the second half with some key plays to put the game out of reach away from a Minnesota team that just simply kept shooting itself in the foot 20-17. Down in Minnesota, the Porty City, it was a very sloppy game, though, from both quarterbacks, Ryan Tannehill and Derek Carr. But Carr, he threw a touchdown pass to Rasheen Shareed in the fourth quarter, and in the 2-minute drill, they played keep away from Tennessee to seal the deal 16-15. In Pittsburgh, my 49ers, yes, my San Francisco 49ers broke through the picket line and absolutely beat down Kenny. Yes, those bastards. Just kidding. And the Steelers on all sides of the ball, well, probably getting confirmation that Brock Purdy still looks pretty good from last year as they beat down the Steelers 30-7. Down in the nation's capital, it was a defensive battle of attrition between the Washington Commanders and the Arizona Cardinals, but it was Washington who commanded the mass amount of turnovers in this game. They commanded the turnover battle, by the way, as their quarterback, Sam Howell, did just enough to strike in the win 20-16. In the afternoon slate of games, Justin Fields and the Bears got absolutely no love from Jordan and the Packers for the stupidity, the bullcrap that they pulled called, say it with me, ladies and gentlemen, say it with me now, ha ha ha, Bears football. And they paid for it oh so dearly as Green Bay broke it open in the second half thanks to the stupidity of Bears football to eviscerate Chicago 38-20. In the Mile High, down 16-10 late in the fourth, Jimmy Garoppolo and the Raiders marched down the field and capped off a comeback with a slant throw from Jimmy to Jacoby Myers as Vegas later held on to beat Denver 17-16. In Seattle, no Cooper Kupp, suddenly no problem for the LA Rams as they found their solution in running back Kyron Williams and receivers Tutu Atwell and Puka Nuka. And pretty much sure I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, all whom had big productive days as they bullied the Seahawks in the second half, 30-13. It was a shootout in Los Angeles between both offenses, between Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa, but two clutch passes in the fourth quarter from Tua to Tyreek Hill. And of course, you can't have a Chargers game without the Chargers clippering in this game. They clippered a sack from defensive lineman Jalen Phillips to Justin Herbert in the final minutes that helped Miami seal a thrilling win over the Clippers, 36-34. And then in New England, Tom Brady came back to be honored by the team. But even then, the Patriots, they tried to come back in this one against the defending NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. But a late toe drag catch was just ruled incomplete as Philadelphia held on 25-20. In the Sunday Night Football game of Week 1, which started out promising for the New York Giants, turned into a big blue disaster. A botched snap in the red zone eventually led to a whole scoring party for the Dallas defense, who feasted all over Daniel Jones with, I think it was 7 takeaways and 7 sacks, in a complete shutout of the New York Giants by the Dallas Cowboys, 40-0. Big yikes, man. Big yikes. And then to cap things off of the week with Monday Night Football between the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. I was excited for this because fuck Monday Night Raw, fuck the Judgment Day, fuck all those people except for Dominic Mysterio because he's cool. Screw Damian Priest, screw Finn Balor, screw Rhea Ripley. I could care less about Monday Night Raw now because Monday Night Football is back. It took all but 3 plays to evaporate the hype of this big time matchup because Aaron Rodgers injured his ankle right away. That had to hurt for New York. But from there, the Jets didn't give up. They didn't quit. They had their John Cena veins injected in them because they forced 4 turnovers on Josh Allen. And, despite a mostly awful game from Zach Wilson, he came up big with a clutch touchdown pass to his receiver, Garrett Wilson. And when the game went to overtime, undrafted rookie Xavier Gibson returned a big 65-yard punt to the house as the Jets won against the Bills in an upset 19-13. Pretty big, man. Pretty big way to cap off week 1 of this already crazy season. Yes, it's already crazy, even though we still have like 17 more weeks to go. But anyway, that was week 1 of the 2023 season. Let's get into a couple of winners and losers of this very first week. Starting off with 2 winners I have in mind. That's the Browns defense. Looking at that Browns defense against the Cincinnati Bengals, absolute menace, absolute wall. The Bengals just couldn't solve. They limited Joe Burrow to just 67 passing yards and making him feel very uncomfortable in the pocket in just basically every which way, and forced him into some very bad throws. Myles Garrett, their defensive end, was pretty much the facilitator in the pass rush, but getting Zadarius Smith and Ogbo Okwonkwo, I think that's his name, that was a very good get for the Browns, and it's already benefiting greatly for them. And then for the secondary, they're flying all over the place too. You had safety Grant Delpit being a tackling machine and providing tight coverage, one-on-one. So this Browns defense is already looking like a force. And when they face the Steelers next Monday night, who are coming off a very bad loss to the 49ers, the Browns defense, they can go up 2-0 in the division. And with that defensive performance, ooh, man, that could be interesting to see. And then the New York Jets, it seemed like all was lost when Aaron Rodgers left with the ankle injury. And by the way, that as I'm making this, who knows what that ankle injury, the nature of that could be.
I mean, damn it! It never, ever, ever goes our way.
As I said, they had those John Cena veins injected in them, and they were rewarded handsomely, especially on the defense. they were up in Josh Allen's face all game. And even when they weren't, Josh Allen was making a lot of unforced mistakes, and the Jets made him pay for it. 3 interceptions from safety Jordan Whitehead. Josh Allen fumbled the snap late in the fourth that allowed Zach Wilson to cash it in with a Garrett Wilson touchdown, who made a great juggling catch to even get that touchdown and give them the lead late in the game. And then, of course, you had the overtime period that saw the special teams put a team effort to help their rookie returner, Xavier Gipson, to win the game. So on a night where Rodgers was supposed to make his big debut, it seemingly turned nightmarish. Gang Green put out a winning fight for this week. Now for the losers, the Minnesota Vikings, man. They could have had this game against Tampa on multiple occasions. But of course, what bit them in the ass this week was turnovers, mainly by Kirk Cousins, which was a common theme all game, whether it was botched snaps or just a direct interception in the red zone, like when they were in striking distance of scoring. And yeah, they don't have a long turnaround because, well, they play on Thursday night. They got to go to Philadelphia in week 2 again. So, oof. They have to find a way to clean that up very quickly. And then the New York Giants, being outmatched is one thing, but then coming into week 1, you have several months to prepare, and that includes the regular season for this game. Being completely unprepared to play in this game is a totally different thing. Again, you had a botched snap. Okay. You shake it off. But then you had the blocked field goal turn touchdown. You're down 16-0 in the first quarter. And then from there, I guess now it just turns into a big blue dog dookie water for New York. And then on top of that, the offensive line pretty much let Daniel Jones get harassed in every which way, getting sacked 7 times. And yeah, they were letting him run for his life on damn near every play. That offensive line, just let Dallas's defensive front just run past them. It's what are you doing? What are you doing, man? So then the defense, for Dallas managed to get at least a couple more takeaways, including that pick 6 right after. So it's man, it's already not a good start for New York, man. If they're gonna try to compete in this NFC East, that's if their offense can make it manageable. So oof. So for all that being said, though, my one big takeaway from week 1 is obviously this. It's the thing that I said at the very beginning of this video. I let a little burped out. And that was, it's only week 1. It is only week 1, and it's really too early to overreact. Maybe for a couple teams, maybe it's justifiable, but for most, we have to wait and see. Some teams, yes, they had some good first impressions. Others, not so much. I mean, look at the Chiefs, for example. They struggled really badly, mainly due to a poor receiving corps, having a lot of drops, especially to Kadarius Toney. And then, I guess Patrick Mahomes still couldn't really trust them, especially without Travis Kelce out there. But then you also look at the Dallas Cowboys, whose defense put up nearly all the team's points. But then you look at who they played. It was a pretty crappy Giants team in a shutout primetime performance. But then you also look at teams like the Ravens. They're supposed to have this on paper powerful offense with Mark Andrews, who didn't play. But you also had receivers, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham, and then running backs, J.K. Dobbins, who's unfortunately is now lost for the season, and then Justice Hill. So you're supposed to have this powerful offense, but then they struggle against a Houston Texans defense that's making life hard for them, for one half. So, yeah, it was not exactly the impression that they were looking for. But then when you think about it, there's still a long road ahead for all these teams. And before we know for sure, for at least 3/4 of them, they're still trying to settle in. They're still trying to settle in what works and what doesn't. So what I'm trying to say is, it's only week 1. Let's see what the rest of let's say at least the first half of the season has in store before we make a clear judgment on who's the best, who's not the best, who's going for that number 1 overall pick, who's going to make it to the Super Bowl, pal. Yeah. Let's move. Let's take it week by week. That's what I have to say about that. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about week 1 of the 2023 NFL season. If you were watching a particular game for your team, I'd like to know how your team did in the comments below. But anyway, this is DylanLasagna signing out of a week 1 recap of the 2023 NFL season. And until next time, keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of sports. And until we talk about week 2, peace out.